Hello students, today I will going to teach you paper 5 Principle of Criticism. Unit 4 T.S. Eliot. Thomas Eliot was a poet, essayist, publisher, playwright, literary critic and editor. Considered one of the 20th century major poets, he is a central figure in English language modernist poetry. Born in St. Louis, Missouri, to a prominent Boston Brahmin family, he moved to England in 1914 at the age of 25 and went on to settle, work, and marry there. He became a British citizen in 1927 at the age of 39, subsequently renouncing his American citizenship. Eliot first attracted widespread attention for his poem The Love Song of J. Alford in 1950, which was received as a modernist masterpiece. It was followed by some of the best known poems in the English language, including The Wasteland, The Hollow Man, Ash Wednesday, Four Quarters, etc. He was also known for his 7 plays, particularly Murder in the Cathedral and The Cocktail Party. In 1949, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1948 for his outstanding pioneer contribution to present-day poetry. Early life and education. The Eliot was a Boston Brahmin family with roots in English and in New England. Eliot's parental grandfather, William Greenleaf Eliot, had moved to St. Louis, Missouri to establish a Unitarian Christian church there. His father, Henry Ware Eliot, was a successful businessman, president, treasurer of the Hydraulic Pressure Brake Company in St. Louis. His mother, Charlotte, wrote poetry and was a social worker. A new profession in the early 20th century, Eliot was the last of the 6 surviving children known to the family and the friend as Tom. He was the namesake of his maternal grandfather, Thomas Terence. Eliot's childhood infatuation was literature can be ascribed to several factors. First, he had to overcome physical limitation as a child. Struggling from a congenital double inguinal hernia, he could not participate in many physical activities and thus was prevented from socializing with his peers. As he was often isolated, his love for the literature developed. Once he learned to read, the young boy immediately became obsessed with books, favoring tales of the savage life, the Wild West, or Mark thrill-seeking Tom Sawyer. In his memoir of Eliot, his friend Robert comments that young Eliot would often curl up in the window seat behind an enormous book, setting the drugs of the dreams against the pain of living. Secondly, Eliot credited his hometown with fueling his literary vision. It is self-evident that St. Louis affected me more deeply than any other environment has ever done. I feel that there is something in having passed one childhood behind the bigger river, which is incommunicable to those people who have not. I consider myself fortunate to have been born here rather than in Boston or New York or London. From 1898 to 1905, Eliot attended Smith Academy, the boy college preparatory division of Washington University, where his study included Latin, ancient Greek, French, and German. He began to write poetry when he was 14 under the influence of Edward, translation of Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. He said the results were gloomy and despairing and he destroyed them. His first published book, A Fable for Feasters, was written as a school experience and was published in the Smith Academy Record in February 1905. Also published there in April 1905 was his oldest serving poem in manuscript, an untitled lyric later revised and reprinted as song in the Harvard Advocate, Harvard University Student Magazine. He also published three short stories in 1905, Birds of Prey, A Tale of Whale, and The Man Who Was King. The last mentioned story significantly reflects his exploration of the ignorant village while visiting the 1904 World Fair of St. Louis. Such a link with indigenous people importantly antedates his anthropological studies at Harvard. Eliot lived in St. Louis for the first 16 years of his life at the house on Locust Scent, where he was born. After going away to school in 1905, he only returned to St. Louis for vacations and visit, despite moving away from the city. Eliot wrote to a friend that Missouri and Mississippi have made a deeper impression on me than any other part of the world. Following graduation, Eliot attended Milton Academy for a preparatory year, where he met Scofield Thayer, who later published The Wasteland. He studied at Harvard College 1906 to 1905, earlier a Bachelor of Art in elective programs similar to comparative literature in 1909, and the Arts of English Literature the following years. This introduced him to Jules, Arthur, and Paul. Without Verlaine, Eliot wrote, he might never have heard of Tristan and his book Les Amours, a work that affected the course of Eliot's life. The Harvard Advocate published some of his poems, and he became lifelong friend with Conrad and the American writer and critic. After working as a philosophy assistant at Harvard, he studied philosophy at the Sorbonne. He attended lectures by Henry and read poetry with Henry. He was back at Harvard studying Indian philosophy and Sanskrit. It was defeated by the two votes after Eliot reminded the students how much they owed American culture. Eliot wrote to Conrad on a year eve 1905, I hate university towns and university people who are same everywhere, with the pregnant wives, sprawling children, many books and hideous pictures on the wall. Oxford is very pretty, but I don't like to be dead. Escaping Oxford, Eliot spent much of his time in London. The city has a monumental and life-altering effect on the Eliot and several reasons, the most significant of which was his introduction to the influential American literacy figure Zara Pound. A connection through resulted in an arranged meeting on 22 September 1914. Thus, according to biographer John Warton, during his time in England, Eliot was seeing a little of Oxford as possible. He was instead spending long period of time in London in company Pound and some of the modern artists whom the war has far spread. By 1960, he had completed a doctoral dissertation for Harvard on knowledge and experience in the philosophy of F. H. Bradley, but he failed to return for the Viva Voce exam. Marriage. Before leaving the US, Eliot had told Emily that he was in love with her. He exchanged letters with her for Oxford during 1914 and 1915, but they did not meet again until 1927. After a short visit alone to his family in the US, Eliot returned to London and took several teaching jobs, lecturing at Birkbeck College, University of London. The philosopher Russell took an interest in Vivian while the newlywed stayed in his flat. Some scholars have suggested that she and Russell had an affair, but the allegations were not confirmed. The marriage was markedly unhappy in the part because Vivian health problems. In a letter addressed to Ezra She covers an extensive list of her symptoms, which included habitually high temperature, fatigue, migraines, and colitis. This, coupled with the apparent mental instability, meant that she was often sent away by Elliot and her doctors for extended period of time in the hope of improving her health. The couple formally separated in 1933, and in 1938, when Mother Morin had committed to a mental hospital against her will, where she remained until her death of her heart disease in 1947. This relationship became the subject of 1984 play Tom and Viv, which in 1994 was adapted as a film on the same name. In private paper written in his 60s, Eliot confessed, I came to persuade myself that I was in love with Vivian simply because I wanted to burn my boats and commit myself to staying in England, and she persuaded herself that she could save the poet by keeping him in England. To her, the marriage brought no happiness. To me, it brought the state of mind out of which came the wasteland. Teaching, banking, and publishing. After leaving Merton, Eliot worked as a school teacher, most notably at a Highgate School, a private school in London, where he taught French and Latin his students, including the young John. Later, he taught at a Royal Grammar School, High Wycombe, a state school in Buckinghamshire. To earn extra money, he wrote book reviews and lectured at evening extension courses at University College London and Oxford. Charles Webley recommended T.S. Eliot to Geoffrey. In 1925, Eliot left Lloyd's to become a director in publishing firm where he remained for the rest of his career. At the Faber and Faber, he was responsible for publishing important English poets like V. H. Auden, Stephen Spender, and Ted Hughes. Conversions to Anglicanism and British citizenship. The Faber and the Faber building, where Eliot worked from 1925 to 1965. On 29 June 1927, Eliot converted to Anglicanism from Unitarianism, and in November that year he took British citizenship. He became a church warden for his parish church. He specially identified as Anglo-Catholic, proclaiming himself classicist in literature, royalist in politics, and Anglo-Catholic in religion. He also had wider spiritual interest, commenting that I see the path of progress for modern man in his occupation and with his own self, with his inner being, and citing as examples of such a direction. Separation and remarriage. By 1932, Eliot had been contemplating a separation from his wife from some time, when Harvard offered him the Charles Eliot professorship for the 1932 to 1933 academic year. He accepted and left Vivian in England. In 1938 and remained there until she died, although Eliot was still legally her husband, he never visited her. From 1933 to 1946, Eliot had chose emotional relationship with Emily. Eliot later destroyed Halley letters to him, but Halley donated Eliot to Princeton University Library, where they were sealed until 2020. When Eliot heard of the donation, he deposited his own account their relationship with Harvard University to be open, where the Princeton letters were. On 10th January 1957, at the age of 68, Eliot married Esme, who was 30. In contrast to his first marriage, Eliot knew well As she had been his secretary at Faber and Faber since August 1949, they kept their wedding secret. The ceremony was held in St. Barnabas Church, London. One in the attendance other than his wife's parents. Eliot had no children with either of his wives. In the early 1960s, by then in failing health, Eliot worked as an editor for the Wilson University Press, seeking new poets in the Europe for publication. After Eliot's death, Warren dedicated her time to pursuing his legacy by editing and annotating the letter of T.S. Eliot of the draft of the Wasteland. Eliot died. Walsted Eliot died on 9th November 2012 at her home in London. Death and honors. Blue Plague London home from 1957 until his death in 1965. Eliot died at Simmer at his home in London on 4th January 1965 and was cremated at Golders Green Crematorium in accordance with his wishes. His ashes were taken at St. Michael and All the Angels Church. A wall plaque in the church with him a quotation from his poem East Cougar in many beginning is my aunt. In my aunt is my beginning. The apartment block where he died, number 3, Kensington Court Garden, had a blue plaque on it since 1986. Honors and award. Literacy Award, Nobel Prize in Literature for his outstanding pioneer contribution to present-day poetry in 1948. Drama Awards, 1950 Tony Award for the Best Play for the Broadway production of The Cocktail Party. Music Award, Award for the Best Song musically and lyrically for his poem used in the song Memory in 1982. Academic Award, 13 honorary doctorates including ones from the Oxford, Cambridge and Harvard. Other honors, Eliot College of the University of Kent, England, named in his honor, celebrated on U.S. His work. Sources, T.S. Eliot Bibliography, Nobel Prizes. Earliest work, prose, The Bird of the Prey, A Tale of the Whale. Poems, A Fable for the Feaster, Class, Oddie. Poetry, The Love Song of J.S. Afton, Portrait of a Lady, Wasteland. Plays, Murder in the Cathedral, The Family Reunion, The Cocktail Party. Non-fiction, Tradition and the Individual Talent. Critical editions, The Wasteland, edited by Michael North and Text Research. The Letter of the T.S. Eliot, edited by her wife Eliot and John, Volume 8 in 2019.